First from Fox at 3 o'clock, a major victory for reproductive rights groups. Today, a federal judge ruling that the United States must make the so-called morning after pill available to all women without a prescription from a doctor, regardless of their age. Let's take this now to our legal panel. Defense attorney Heather Hansen and criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor Kimberly Lerner. Kimberly, let me start with you. You think the judge today was absolutely correct. Make it available over the counter to everybody. Just walk on in there and grab a box and pay for it. Now, why do you think he was right?
The judge wasn't making a political or moral statement. This is litigation that's been going on for about 7 years. Back in 2006, he remanded this to the FDA for further research. It took the FDA over 3 years to make a decision. And basically, the Secretary of Health and Human Services was the one who came down and said this is not happening. The commissioner of the FDA approved this. And the court found that it was arbitrary, capricious, and that this drug was treated differently.
You've got HHS and the FDA at each other. Now, Heather, you believe the judge got it right. How do you figure?
I think that the judge got it wrong. I think that...
Oh, wrong. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I think that he said that it was arbitrary, capricious, and unreasonable.
Right.
And I do not think it's unreasonable to ask that there be a gatekeeper for someone under the age of 17 to get this drug. Normally, that gatekeeper hopefully would be a parent. But here you've got a drug that children are not necessarily going to tell their parents that they need this drug. It's not like aspirin. The judge compared it to aspirin. It's very different from aspirin. With aspirin, you might say to your mother, listen, I have a headache. What should I take? Am I allergic to that? Does our family have any predisposition?
But shouldn't that 15-year-old who's afraid of their parents or telling their parents be able to walk in and get it? The alternative would be don't do anything and be pregnant.
Well, the alternative that was in place was to go to a doctor and have a prescription for it if you're under that age.
A lot of kids just keep their mouths shut. But look, Kimberly, is Plan B really just like popping an aspirin, which is what the judge kind of said here?
The research shows that it's very safe. In fact, in the decision, which was a 59-page decision, he really gave a lot of thought to this. He said diet pills were more harmful. He talked about other things that are readily available to children. This prevents conception.
Why would Kathleen Sebelius, the HHS secretary, say, look, I just don't think there's enough data here on 11-year-olds and 12-year-olds?
Because there are moral implications, and the courts are basically saying, look, keep the moral implications. This is the law. Politics should not play a part in the law.
She talked about the cognitive and behavioral differences between 17-year-olds and 14-year-olds. And I think for her, it was a question of, is the child going to read the labels? You know, there's blood clotting risks with these types of drugs. Do they know that they have a predisposition to that? There's an age at which you're just not going to take the drug properly no matter what you read.
Kathleen Sebelius is a political appointee. She doesn't have a medical degree. Guess what? The FDA commissioner who said, wait a minute, I'm not sure about the morning after pill. That's a doctor, for goodness sakes.
No, you're absolutely right. The science is there, and that's what the people on the other side are touting, science over politics. The problem is that this is what Sebelius said was not about science. It's about common sense and whether these kids are going to be taking this pill according to the directions with the right indications.
Do you have more faith in a politician or a doctor when it comes to medical matters?
Not only do I have more faith in a doctor, but the court itself said they don't know if Sebelius would be qualified to run the FDA.
I'll quote the judge. He called Sebelius' decision politically motivated, scientifically unjustified, and contrary to agency precedent. Final word?
I disagree with what he said there. I think it's reasonable. And if the reasonableness is the standard, I think it's there.
All right, got to leave it at that. Thank you both. Kimberly Lerner, Heather Hansen, thank you.
Thank you.